Chapter 23. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings, they fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause with thee. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thy ears to the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my reins shall rejoice, when thy lips speak right things. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among wine-bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth, and sell it not, also wisdom and instruction and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thy heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, and as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. Verse 1 and 2. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. What this is saying is, if you are somebody who loves to eat your food, love lots of food, eat with gusto and abandon and make all kinds of noise and slurping and sucking and stuff, don't do that. It says basically, put a knife to your throat, slit your throat. Now, he doesn't mean slit it. I mean just consider diligently what is before thee. Look at the plate and realize that you're not supposed to ask for more. You're sitting down with somebody who's quite wealthy. They have put good food on the plate. It is not there to fill up your stomach. It is there to feed you what you need, not feed you what you could fill yourself with. Good advice. Good advice, but it's sort of interestingly phrased. Then verse 6, eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye. And then verse 7, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. In other words, you'll see that he'll say one thing, eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. In other words, that's not what he wants you to do. He doesn't want you to eat and drink and be comfortable. He wants you to eat as little and to drink as little as he can possibly feed you. And then he wants to take advantage of you somehow. And then in verse 8, the morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. So you're going to wind up losing the thanks that you gave him, because the food that he gave you will not stay with you. It isn't that it'll make you sick, it's that you will realize that you were taken advantage of. Lots of figures of speech here. Verse 10, remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer, the Lord, is mighty. He will plead their cause with thee. In other words, if you want to deal with God, you just try dealing unjustly with the fatherless. They had old landmarks that marked the corners of the fields in ancient Israel. And one of the worst things that you could do was to move the landmarks to make your own fields bigger. God made a point to Joshua, if I remember correctly, that you leave those markers where they are. Because when you moved it, not you made your field bigger, but you also took away from somebody else what they needed. Then it goes verse 13 and 14. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell. The connotation here is not just beating children for the sake of beating children, and not beating children. They're talking about very rebellious, absolutely unpenitent teenagers and older. Okay, the word child is inappropriately translated there. They don't mean little children. They mean large, teenage, rebellious children who are on their way to morally corrupt criminal behavior. That's the suggestion here. Okay, verse 17. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear, respect of the Lord all day long. You will see people who are thieving, people who are sinning, and they will seem to have an advantage. Don't believe it. The day will come when they will pay a very heavy price for all that they've done. See, verse 18, for surely there is an end. And thine expectation, if you're doing the right thing, you won't lose your reward. They will. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in thy way. In other words, you choose how your heart goes. It doesn't have to lead you. You can decide it. Be not among wine bibbers, that is, wine drinkers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall both come to poverty. Drowsiness, in other words, sleepiness, having hangovers, being overstuffed, will see to it that you don't have the riches that you would if you were up working, and you will live in rags. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. We've seen this numerous times in here, stated different ways. Buy the truth and sell it not. In other words, pay the price to learn the truth. The price is always effort, not cash. Sell it not. In other words, don't throw it away. Once you've got the truth, keep it, think on it, ponder it. And also ponder and think on wisdom and the instruction that you get from your parents and from other people, and understanding. Think about those things. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy in him. That, as a father, I can tell you, that makes an enormous amount of difference to how your life goes if the children will be obedient to the things that you righteously taught them.